Hello and welcome to my retro watches. Well, this is not a retro watch. It's not a vintage watch. It's not a watch I'm going to repair. So that can only mean one thing. Yes, it's a Phoibos, and yes, it's another review. Now, sometimes these go down well on the channel, sometimes they don't, but I am a really big fan of Phoibos. They like doing things their own way. They asked me if I'd like to look at this new model. This is called the Great Wall. This is version 2, if you like. They did one a lot longer ago and they've revamped it to the one that you can see in front of you. Now, I'm going to tell you about all the good points, what I think is good about this watch, but also some of the negative points as well. So hopefully you're going to stick around and watch this view in its entirety. It is, like I say, an interesting watch. So let's get into telling you all about it. As always, I like to do all my reviews outside when possible. This was a nice spring sunny day in the UK. I think natural light hides no prisoners when we're looking at watches, and that's a great place to show them. This watch has got a double dome sapphire crystal on it, and as a result there is a little bit of reflection. It does have some AR coating on it, but you'll see through this review that some parts are reflected, so hopefully that doesn't deter it from the details too much. So who are Phoibos? Well, Phoibos are based in Hong Kong, but they are not one of those AliExpress watch companies. They stand out in their own right, and they use off-the-shelf movements, of course, but generally their designs pretty much unique and their own, and that's what I love about them. They come up with some ideas, sometimes that are a bit quirky. This one is no exception. I think you've got to like this one, but we're going to go through the features, and I think you might actually warm to it towards the end. So let's start off with the sizing. So this watch is a little bit of a chunky monkey for me. It's 42mm. I tend to like about 39, 40 at the most for a watch like this. And realistically, the case is only about 39, but you've got those castellations that are on that bezel that you can see. Yes, it is a bezel, and they do protrude quite somewhat, so that's where the 42mm is coming from. They are a great design cue, which I'll show you more on very, very shortly. The thickness of the watch is 14.2mm. Now I think at least a millimetre, if not 1.2mm, is realistically the height of the double dome sapphire, because it doesn't wear like a 14 in my opinion. Anyway, the lug width is 22mm. The watch is supplied with two straps, so it comes with this nice black rubber strap that's got the curved end, so it fits the watch really nicely, and it sort of curves around the wrist as well. Very comfortable, but also comes with a leather strap that, to be fair, I've only put the leather strap on for this review because it makes it easier to film, but I don't think I'd ever wear it with the leather strap because I'm thinking it's more of a sporty type of watch, and the rubber strap is much more appropriate. But talking of sporty, so this is one of my first dilemmas. What actually is this watch? Is it a sports watch or is it a dive watch? Because yes, you've got a bezel, but you've got no real inlay in there to give you any numbers that you could use. Okay, you could use this for timing, but I wouldn't swim underwater with it with my life. But it has got a 300 meters of water resistance, so yeah, that's kind of like over engineered a little bit in my opinion. I'm not going to go to any sort of depths with this thing. So is it really necessary to have 300 meters? I'll let you guys decide. However, the watch is very, very striking. I absolutely love that burnt orange dial and the blue second hand. Phoibos always do it their own way, very bold, and yes, let's get stuck into that dial now. Here we are up close and personal, and the sun just hits it beautifully at this point as well. It shows off that circular brushing that they've put on the orange colour there. I think that's really nice. Do like a little bit of texture to a dial. I don't like just a plain colour, and I think Phoibos certainly have nailed it to the mast on that one. That blue second hand is fantastic. It's loomed at the heel. I never get that. Seiko do this a lot, don't they? Have that sort of lollipop one. And if you were trying to read the seconds at night, of course, that would be pointless because you've got to then try and think about where it's pointing and not where your eyes are leading you to. But yes, the blue hand is striking against that background. You've got a chapter ring, a 60-minute chapter ring running around, so you can tell easily the minutes. So being a criticism on some Phoibos before, where you can't actually tell the minute exactly as you'd want to. So it's 10 out of 10 for legibility on this one. Those black sword hands full of lume absolutely work wonderfully against that orange. Now, if any of you remember the Phoibos Vortex that I reviewed, I actually liked that watch a lot. A very layered dial, but they'd put the minute track sort of as a ring in the middle of the dial, and as a result the hand overtook it and you couldn't really tell the minute it was on. So again, Phoibos do like to push it, but I'm glad they've gone back to sort of something a lot more conventional. Another constant theme that you see with Phoibos is the date wheel. It's colour coordinated to the dial, and on some of the other models I've criticised that certainly the dial choice that I've chosen hasn't actually been that appropriate, because then you can't read the date if you want to. But on this one you can see there it says 5, it's absolutely no problem, and I think that's just because orange and black do really work in unison together. So last thing to talk about on the dial, of course, is those indices. Now, don't tell me to name the shape of the 12, 3 and 9. To me they look like the ends of shovels. They've just been painted onto the dial with lume, and Phoibos do lume extremely well. They're very proud to tell you that it's 15 layers, and on this one I really believe them, because this thing is the brightest thing I've ever seen to shine at night other than stars in the sky. I slightly joked there, but here we go. Here is a lume shot. So a quick blast of the UV pen, and then away we go. This is a half an hour time lapse speeded up, and it just glows and glows and glows. You get that initial really big bright burst, and then it does fade, but even at the half an hour spot it was still bright visibly with the eye. Of course the camera doesn't pick it up as well as you can see it, but it just keeps going, and it will go for literally hours on end at that sort of low level that you get into now on the video you can see. So really excellent lume, best I think I've ever seen. To me this has got to be one of the best side profiles of a watch I think I've ever seen. Look at all that detail. What I especially like is the swoop in lugs. That helps with that rubber bracelet to sort of shape to your wrist, should we say, but it also makes it appear a shorter lug to lug as well. You can see big chunky crown guards. You've got a screw down crown there as well, which is also embossed with the Phoibos logo. The castellations on that bezel from this angle look, I don't know, spectacular. They're really machined well, probably a bit too well, because they do feel just a little bit sharp. It doesn't bother me too much, however it might bother some people, I don't know. It just gives you plenty of grip at the same time. Now more on the bezel. Well, I think I've said that it's 120 click bezel. Is it a usable bezel? It's hard to say. You've got a lume pip at 12, and then you've got these sort of polished buttons, for want of a better word, which are going to give you your markings. So you could use it for timing, but I think it's more for decoration. I kind of like them, but not in a usable sense. You guys tell me what you think of them. It's just a bit of design, isn't it, I think, and I don't think I've seen anything like that before on any watch, to be honest with you. Everything seems to be a brushed finished, brushed very well, of course, again, except for those little buttons which are really highly polished to give it a bit of contrast. Here's another fantastic case back from Phoibos. They never let me down. Here we've got the Great Wall of China, something on my personal bucket list to see, actually. Of course the watch is called the Great Wall, tells you what movement it's in there. It's a sapphire crystal, it's 300 meters of water resistance, and it's a limited edition, something I've not said yet. Each case is numbered, and it'll be at the bottom of the screen where the sun's dazzling, so you can't actually see that. I'll try and show you a photo later on their website. But yeah, what a fantastic case back. 10 out of 10. Of course, it's what's under the case back that matters. It's a 9015 Myota movement. This is a high beat movement at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 24 joules, 40 hours power reserve, all the usual. It's a higher grade of Miyota. You still get that sort of really fast spinning rotor, unfortunately, but you've got some Genève stripes there, a bit of finishing on the rotor as well, so not a bad movement. I've seen this in a few others. I've actually blued some screws on some of these as well in a video before. I quite like them, but the acid test, of course, is sticking it on the time grapher. So let's go to the bench and see what it's like in all the different positions. Here it is then speeded up so we can see the different positions, but you can see it's running, well, fairly consistently at +8, maybe +10 seconds a day. Not entirely happy with that beat error being 0.5. That's well out of my tolerance. Whether it is for Miyota, I don't know, but in the main it's going to pass off and keep time good enough. But if you're a tinkerer like me, you're definitely going to try and fettle that beat error back just that little bit. So this is what it looks like on the wrist. You've got a nice big Phoibos buckle there. This is the black rubber strap, and you can see how those sort of lugs hug your wrist. Looks quite cool. Here it is also now on the brown leather strap. You tell me whether you like that look or the black one. I really do think it's the rubber strap all day long, to be honest with you, but tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Here we are on Phoibos website then, and it's time to reveal the price, because this is possibly a slight negative from my point of view. These watches, here we got all the different colorways. Look, you can see the orange, the black, there's a blue, there's this sort of teal color as well, which is quite nice. But the price, $465. Now that's around about £370, I think. That's quite a lot of money for a micro brand that's trying to play with some of the people like Seiko. I think these are built better than a £300 Seiko personally. If we click into them though, they have got an offer on at the moment, which is till the 31st of May. So you'd save $66 if you use this discount code here. Now that's not bad actually. I mean, that's going to bring it down quite a bit. I think this is a £300 watch. That's the sort of money I would be prepared to pay for it. I think that's where it's placed in the market. But it is a limited edition. I don't know why it's a limited edition, to be honest with you. This is the second iteration of the Great Wall. One point that I should make really as well, European customers. So if you live in Europe, well, I don't live in Europe anymore. I live in UK, so we are not part of Europe. We didn't like that. I didn't vote for that. I'm not going to get political here now. But yes, so they've got a European website, which I believe is shipped from Europe. That will save you some tax on delivery, basically. So it's worth knowing that. Now, there will be links, of course, down below in the description box. I've also got a discount code. I wouldn't use mine unless that offer's been out if you're interested in one of these. But if you do buy something from Phoibos and you go into the website through my link, I will get a kickback. So please go and have a look at their models. I'm not trying to sell you a watch, but certainly look at what they offer. Definitely something different if you're in the market. So here it is next to the first Phoibos I ever reviewed, which was the Eagle Ray 2. Watch that is still my favourite. I wear that a lot. I love that orange dial, to be honest with you, and that's probably why I chose the orange dial on this one to review, because, well, I'm just drawn to orange quite clearly. What do I think? Well, okay, I think I've said some of the negatives. The price, some of the sharp edges, the very bold looks, of course, you've got to be into that. But if you are, there are quite a lot of die-hard Phoibos fans, and if you were a Phoibos fan, you're not going to be disappointed with this one. You're not going to see too many on people's wrists, so you are buying something that is a little bit different to the mainstream as well. So, you know, fair play to Phoibos. I'm going to continue to always support them. I think what they're doing is great, so why not? So yeah, like I say, links down below if you want to check them out. If you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up. It's really going to help. Leave your comments, good and bad, below. I read every single one, try to reply to as many as I can. I believe that Phoibos also read the comments if you wanted to leave them some feedback. They have acted on feedback in the past from what fans and people have said back to them. So yeah, leave some comments below. Subscribe if you want to see some more. I'll be back, I believe you me, with some restoration work very, very soon. I am working on 3 videos all at the same time at the moment, but they do take some time, so please bear with me. But I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.